almost forgot to unmute my mic. Look at me. Yo, peoples, doing my intro again. Welcome back to yet another iteration of My Hero Academia. Thank you, Karma, for letting me know. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have forgotten and I would have gone this whole time not knowing. Thank you again, Karma. But, last we left off, Mina tried to throw the sedative into Gigantomachia's mouth, but failed to do it because she lost her nerve when she remembered that Machia was the same individual that almost threatened the lives of her friends way back when before she joined UA. And back then, Kirishima wanted to go and save her friends, but he lacked the nerve to do it. Well, Mina is having that same stint that Kirishima had, and Kirishima comes in clutch this time with his hardening, his advanced quirk hardening, and manages to throw the sedative into the mouth of Gigantomachia. All the while, Mount Lady and Kamui Woods are trying to defend themselves, but they get thrown off and they're knocked out. But then it ends with more heroes closing in on the rest of the villains, such as Gang Orca, Fat Gum, Amajiki. Well, might just call him Sun Eater, because sometimes I'll get the pronunciation wrong. We got a Sun Eater and a whole bunch of other different heroes that are there as well, convening on where the rest of the students are in order to lend them a hand. And then it ends with Endeavor. Thought I heard my phone for a second. Nope, I'm good. Then it ends with Shigaraki standing what looks to be laying down. I'm trying to find what are the words. I'm excited to read this chapter. I'm sorry, but we have Shigaraki below a triumphant-looking Endeavor, saying how if you don't have ideals, then there's no way you're gonna be able to pull this off. And then Shigaraki says, "Ideals? I used to have stuff like that." So, time to move on and see what happens in the next chapter, because we're back in the city with them. And the thing is, Shigaraki's body was cracking all over. I don't know what that means, but it looks like we're about to find out because it's the second panel in this first page. Moving on! Your heroes hurt your own families. You heroes hurt your own families. Just to help complete strangers. And he's thinking back to his father who used to hit him. Shigaraki. This is Shigaraki who's thinking all this. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers. And he thinks back to his father who was ready to, hit him because he actually liked heroes. But then we have Shigaraki's body cracking all over. I don't know what this means. Let's find cover and keep that water flowing, Manuel. As you know, Manuel is the hero who's using water to allow Aizawa's eyes to remain open at all times in order to keep Shigaraki from using All for One and all the quirks that are with it. Finish him off, quick. Then you have Gran Torino looking over all this. What's going on now? You heroes pretend to be society's guardians. Chapter 281 plus Ultra. Whoa, okay. I'm getting chills just from the vibe of this. You don't ever see plus Ultra unless something monumental is about to happen. For generations, you pretended not to see those you couldn't protect and swept their pain under the rug. It's tainted everything you've built. And then it shows Shigaraki walking past all these other people when he was a child. All these people walking past him. Even though he needs help, they're all just walking past him. Even this little old lady. I'm sure the police or a hero or somebody can help you. That means your system's all rotten from the inside, with maggots crawling out. It all builds up little by little, over time. You've gotten the common trash, all too dependent on being protected. And the brave guardians who created the trash that need coddling. It's a corrupt, vicious cycle.
Everything I've witnessed, this whole system you've built, has always rejected me. Now I'm ready to reject it. That's why I destroy. That's why I took this power for myself. Simple enough, yeah? I don't care if you don't understand. That's what makes us heroes and villains.
And it just shows... It shows Shigaraki's body just tearing apart. Is that blood? Is he bleeding from the cracks that is happening all over his body? What is happening to him? And then Endeavor tries to literally fry him. Thanks for the breather, and since you're on death's door and all, prepare to... And Shigaraki jumps out of that same flame.
How is he still moving?
And he... Oh. Ooh. That is not a good face to see from someone you think is defeated. He's got... His eyes are all white, but he's grinning ear to ear with teeth just bare in this maniacal-looking face. But he's pinned down by Gran Torino.
Todoroki's packing less fire now. Could it be blowback from all those fancy attacks?
And then Shigaraki throws off Gran Torino.
This one's always seen better days. He's pushing past his limits to keep fighting.
Shigaraki still has the whites of his eyes. His eyes are still all white. And then... Yo! He grabs Gran Torino's leg and crushes it. Endeavor tries to go over to Shigaraki. Bakugo tries to go over to Shigaraki. Aizawa's looking on. Midoriya's saying, Gran Torino! And Shigaraki slams Torino in the ground.
What a face. Shimura!
Oh, this is flashbacks. Back to when Nana Shimura was leaving. And you see Gran Torino when he was tall and massively buff. And now we got them talking to each other.
I tinker with the family records to keep him off the trail. Because if he were to ever learn of Kotaro, he'd be sure to exploit our connection. And so I have no son. I never did.
Yo, she really doesn't like the fact that she had to cut ties with her family. Her son resents her for leaving, but he does not realize that she left in order to keep All For One back then from using her Nana Shimura's family against her. He doesn't see that. It is wow. To think that you have all this hatred for your mother, who did everything she can to keep you safe from literally the Japan's most dangerous supervillain of all time. Yet you want to complain about how she just ran off without understanding maybe there was some other reason why she did it. It's no wonder no one really liked Tomura Shigaraki's dad. He's a real tool.
Sorahiko, I have no son. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers.
And it's doing flashbacks again. He's ignorant. Yeah, Kamura, he's really ignorant.
Dad told me that. Shimura, the decision we made, was it?
And then it shows Nana Shimura embracing Gran Torino because she really hates the decision that she had to make. And then it cuts. Wow. After Shigaraki slams Gran Torino into the ground, he then punches straight through Gran Torino. I'm gonna read on. Then it cuts to Midoriya screaming out as he launches towards Shigaraki.
Power. Stay back, Deku!
And then it cuts to Shigaraki sprinting past Midoriya and Bakugo. He's somehow even faster now, because he's aiming straight for Aizawa in order to get his hands on, in order to get his quirks back. But then he's caught by Ryukyu. Ryukyu! And it shows Shigaraki has punched square through her hand. And is trying to drag her while he's making his way to Aizawa. I'm running out of steam. Is that Shigaraki who's saying that? But then it shows Midoriya black whipping both himself and Shigaraki. Shigaraki!
I will never forgive you. And I won't forgive you.
Then I don't know if he just hit Midoriya or what, but Midoriya is shown. Is that blood? Or is that Black Whip? Turn that rage into strength. Bind him, Black Whip! And then it just shows more Black Whips engulfing Shigaraki. And then it has Bakugo coming up behind.
Hold him right there, Deku!
Or is that Endeavor? No, that's Endeavor.
Hold him right there, Deku. One more hit with all I've got. One more should be enough to...
Then it shows Shigaraki. He hit him with his elbow. Okay. Oh, okay. He hit him with his elbow. I see it. Thanks, Karma. He hit him with his elbow. Then it zooms into the hands of Ryukyu that look like they're severely broken. It shows Shigaraki reaching into his sleeve.
Give it all I got.
And then it shows Shigaraki take one of the vials. Oh, one of the vials that erases quirks out of his sleeve.
Those fools still don't know that I've got this.
Yo, is he gonna try and flick the capsule over? Because he has monstrous strength. So he has the capacity to flick that over in Aizawa's direction and hit him with it. Oh, this is a bad situation. Endeavor's coming up behind him in order to hit him with one last punch with the energy he has left. Then Shigaraki has punched square through where Ryukyu's hand is in order to have a space where he's still in view of Aizawa. And then it cuts down to a shot of Eri in like a Santa outfit. I'm more than likely hanging out with Mirio. And she's smiling. Next chapter hits August 30th. That's the end of the chapter. Now I'm trying to see, is that capsule open? Or is it closed? Because it doesn't look like the cap is on it. So does that mean that he's already done it? Oh, no, he says he's still got this. But it's hard for me to tell. Maybe it's an unopened capsule and he plans to shoot it that way over to where Aizawa is. Wow, what a chapter. But this looks like the end of Gran Torino, because this punch that he delivers to him shows him punching into the ground with enough force to crater the ground that Shigaraki and Gran Torino are on, and also a big splash of blood to shoot up from the spot where Shigaraki has, by all intents and purposes, impaled his fist, because in the panel next to that, it shows Shigaraki's arm up to about right here, covered in blood. And we all know that heroes who get impaled through the midsection usually don't have that very long. I mean, Night Eye and now Gran Torino. Man. Not only did All Might lose his mentor that passed on All for One to him, but also it looks like he may be losing his teacher as well. And this is a lot for Deku to take in. Like, he's crying and he's screaming. He's got full cowling on and everything. Do you think Deku would lose every quirk or just a random one if he got hit by that quirk eraser? That's the thing, though. We don't know what'll happen due to the fact that All for One itself is a very complex quirk, and the fact that it cannot be taken, it has to be given. It's very complex, and it's hard, and I don't know. That's a very good question to ask. Does that remove all of One for All, or does it just remove one of the quirks that are in One for All? I'd hate for it to remove a quirk and we don't actually get to see it in action, because if it removes that quirk from All for One, if it were to work that way, if it removed the quirk for All for One, does that also mean that the shadow of the former successor who had that one quirk, do they disappear? It's a very good, peculiar question. Hey, Psycho, what's going on? Sorry if you're coming in near the tail end of this, but it's a very peculiar question. And August 30th is when we get the next chapter of My Hero Academia, which means that we get another chapter next week, and then the week after we get another One Piece chapter. But still. Man. Gran Torino, you did everything in your power to train the users of One for All. If it wasn't for you, then Deku wouldn't have learned to finally tune his full cowling as much as he did. If someone is going to get hit by that, then I think it's going to be Aizawa. I think so as well, because that's who he's aiming for. He's been aiming for Aizawa this entire fight, because Aizawa is the only one keeping Shigaraki from going all out. And we've seen the destructive power of his quirks. Not just the decay, but also his, like, mixing shockwave quirks and radio waves to cause, like, massive destructive blasts that carve out cities. And that's just, overall, that's just a couple of the quirks he has. Like, he has full regeneration, like high speed regeneration. Even without quirks, his body is superhuman beyond belief, and can take a lot of damage and can move faster. Like, even now in this panel, before the last panel, Deku, both Midoriya and Bakugo are looking on like, what the heck? He's somehow even faster than he was before. And this is a Shigaraki who's been beaten senseless for a while now without the use of his quirks, and he's gotten faster. So he has a decaying quirk that works like a domino effect, where even if a small piece of rubble hits you, that spreads, and then whatever you touch with that quirk going on, that spreads, and it just continues to spread outwards. He has that. He has high-speed regeneration. He has shock waves. He has radio waves that can also be combined into shock waves for destructive blasts. He has so many different quirks, along with All for One as well. And who knows how many other quirks in his body in All for One as well. So, naturally, for him to do exactly what he wants, he needs to get rid of Aizawa in order to, go all out, destroy everything, and make sure that there's no opposition around him. Because Aizawa is literally the only thing keeping Shigaraki from just destroying everything. Even though he's doing a lot of damage right now, Aizawa is the one keeping him from being literally omnipotent levels of destructive right now. And that's why he's gunning for him so hard. So I don't know if he's going to use that capsule to try and get off of Midoriya, or he's more than likely going to aim it at Aizawa in order to make sure that no one can erase his quirk. And I feel like if we lose Aizawa, we lose one of the biggest aces in the hole for heroes. Literally a man who can erase the quirks of other villains is a man who can erase the quirks of other villains with the use of his own quirk is a literal godsend for whatever side he chooses on. Because if he sides with the heroes, villains are going to have a hard time. Because most villains probably train themselves to use their quirk more than their physical capabilities. That's why a lot of people who use quirks in My Hero Academia get taken down real easily, because they rely too much on their devil fruit powers. I'm sorry, they're quirks. That's the same thing applies for Logia users in One Piece. They rely on their tangibility and their ability to not get hit, that they're not used to training their bodies to get hit. So, same thing applies for quirk users. For a person who can erase quirks, he is literally the anti-quirk user. So if they lose Aizawa, they literally use one of the most versatile and most, by all extents, powerful heroes overall. I don't say powerful in the terms of destructive capabilities or monster strength, but powerful in the way that he makes people who can have other destructive and really dangerous quirks literally just regular people. That is literally the opposite of what a villain wants when they're out just causing or doing whatever they want to do. The last thing you want as a villain is to have your very power that you use to work at full extent to be just shut off completely. Aizawa is literally the bane of quirk users. So if they lose Aizawa, they are losing literally one of the most powerful quirks in existence. And if Aizawa loses his quirk forever, I highly doubt there will be another quirk like that. I mean, the closest we have is Eri, but she doesn't do it in the way of she just looks at you and then you're gone. She has to touch you. Like, her quirk rewinds things. It's not like it just completely erases it. I mean, if she rewound you all the way back to before you were born, then yeah, she erases you from existence, but it doesn't work the same way as Aizawa's. But at the same time, it's not on the same level as Aizawa's, because she's still learning. Aizawa has trained his to perfection. But like I said, and I keep saying it, if they lose Aizawa, they lose literally one of their biggest trump cards. So hopefully Aizawa comes out of this alive and well and with his quirk intact, because I feel like after this fight with Shigaraki, there's still more to this story. Even though this feels so much like end game, end level, final arc of the story type feels right now. This feels this way. This can't be the end of the story. But overall, my heart goes out to pretty much everyone who's ever... Oh, wow. And you know what I just realized? Midoriya was there when he saw Gran Torino get punched straight through his body. Who's gonna tell All Might? Like, literally, All Might knew Gran Torino longer than everyone else. He trained with him. Even before he had the big fight against All For One, he trained with Gran Torino. He was literally the person Gran Torino trained right after Nanashimura passed on All For One, and then was killed by passed on One For All. Passed on One For All, and then was killed by All For One. So who's going to tell All Might? He had to deal with his partner, Night Eye, dying. And that was hard for him. Now his literal mentor and teacher has been impaled through the body by the person by the grandson of his previous successor and teacher. So much is going to be happening to All Might. Literally, all of his distress stems from Tomura Shigaraki. And it's sad. Could Shigaraki take Aizawa's quirk? He could, but that would mean that Aizawa would have to take his eyes off of him, and then Shigaraki would have to touch Aizawa in order to take the quirk. The reason why Shigaraki can't take his quirk right now is because All for One's quirk, to take quirk, is in and of itself a quirk. Therefore, with Aizawa staring in Shigaraki's direction, he's keeping Shigaraki from being able to steal anything, because All for One is a quirk-stealing quirk. Still a quirk nonetheless. With Aizawa looking in his direction, he can't take anything. So, even if he could try, the only way that would work is if Aizawa would take his eyes off of him, and then Shigaraki gets behind him, and then forcibly takes it from him. That is the only way he can take it. If Aizawa's looking at him, he's not getting his quirk taken. The only alternative is to use that vial of quirk erasing drug that the Hisaikai and Chisaki developed. That is the only way. We just got to get Eri, and Torino will be saved. If it was that easy, then they would have restored All Might to his former strength, and they would have saved Night Eye. But seeing as how her power is still at a stage where she doesn't know how to control it, I don't see that as a viable option. And you know what? I think it would be a bad idea to introduce Eri to more distressful situations. She literally just got back. She literally just started to learn how to smile again. I don't think it would be such a good idea to bring her back into a depressing situation where everyone is relying on her to use her powers. I mean, the stress of that could cause her power to go out of control, and it could cause more destruction than a lot of people are accounting for. So, as much as I would like for Eri to be able to use her powers to make things right for a lot of people, it would not bode well due to both her age and her lack of control. So it's too soon to rely on Eri for something like this. But this was a pretty good chapter. I'm still sad about Gran Torino. I don't know if he'll have any last words. I mean, the last thoughts we see of Gran Torino is him embracing Nana Shimura as she's crying over the fact that she had to leave her family, even knowing well what that kind of impact would do to them, even though they don't know what's fully going on. With this chapter, it is real sad. And then you have Midoriya working more of his Black Whip in there. So he's getting better at using Black Whip. Maybe we'll see him use his float quirk. Maybe stressful situations will draw out the need for use of more quirks from Midoriya's side. But yeah, that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. This, like I said, this tends to be a lot shorter than my One Piece reactions. So hopefully I didn't take too long to read through this with you guys. But now we gotta wait for next week to pop up in order to see what happens next. It's convenient that this chapter name matches exactly what my shirt says. Plus Ultra. It really is Plus Ultra, but not in the Plus Ultra positive way that we're all used to. Wow. Well, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I got to think about this. Like, we're losing Gran Torino. How's All Might going to feel? He's no longer the symbol of peace. He lost his former partner, Night Eye. He finds out that the grandson of his former mentor was groomed by All for One to literally be the next him. And he was prepared to beat him into the ground. Not only that, but now his other mentor, Gran Torino, looks like he's dead now. So this is so much stress for All Might, and he doesn't even know that it's happened yet. Every time there's a victory for the heroes, there's a victory for the villains. every single time. And it's always a more devastating victory for the villains than it is for the heroes. Every time. Alright, y'all. That's all I got. I hope y'all enjoyed. Man, I love Gran Torino. He's so awesome. Man. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Wow, I just realized that I had my My Hero Academia, my One Piece logo up this entire time, and I never even knew it. I'm a dum-dum.